If you clicked on this video, then somewhere along the way you've probably stopped. Maybe late at night when the house had finally gone quiet and asked yourself the same small, heavy question. What is my purpose? What am I actually supposed to be doing with my life? And if you still don't have a clear answer to that question, I want you to hear this before anything else. You are not the only one. Not even close. I carried that exact same question around with me for years, like a stone in my pocket I couldn't put down. When I was younger, everyone around me seemed to already know exactly who they were going to become. One friend wanted to be a doctor, and he'd say it with this calm certainty, like it was already decided. Another wanted to be an engineer. Another had dreamed of standing in front of a classroom since she was a little girl. And then there was me, full of a dozen different interests, each one pulling me in a dozen different directions, with no real path in front of me at all. I loved too many things to choose just one, and I was good enough at some of them to feel like I was wasting whatever it was I had. And that's a strange kind of lonely, being surrounded by people who seem so sure, while you quietly feel like the only one still guessing. I remember one evening, sitting out on the porch with my grandfather as the light was going soft and orange, and I finally said it out loud. I don't know what I'm meant to do with my life. I half expected him to laugh or to hand me some quick piece of advice the way adults usually do. But he didn't rush to answer me at all. He just looked at me, calm as still water, and let the silence sit there for a moment. Then he said, "You will never think your way to your purpose. You don't find it in your head. You find it by looking honestly at the one place where your heart, your skill, and the needs of the world all quietly meet." I didn't really understand him back then. I was too young and too impatient, and I wanted a straight answer, not a riddle. His words just sort of floated past me and settled somewhere I couldn't reach yet. But years later, after plenty of wrong turns and jobs that drained me, and dreams I chased that turned out to be someone else's, I finally understood what he'd been describing. And I learned that it even has a name. It's an old Japanese idea called Ikigai, your reason for being. It's that quiet thing that pulls you out of bed in the morning with energy instead of dread, with meaning, with a reason to keep going. And today, I want to walk you through exactly how to find yours, step by step, the same way I eventually found mine. Ikigai rests on 4 simple questions, and I want you to really sit with each one, because the honesty you bring to them is the whole thing. Here they are. What do you love doing? What are you truly good at? What does the world actually need? And what can you be paid for? Now, those 4 questions look simple on the surface, but when you write them down and answer each one honestly, not the way you wish the answer was, not the way that would impress somebody, but the real, plain truth, something quietly begins to appear in the spaces where they overlap. And that's where the magic of this is hiding. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Where what you love meets what the world needs, that is your mission. It's the part of you that feels called to something bigger than yourself. Where what the world needs meets what you can be paid for, that is your vocation. It's the work that has a place for you out there, waiting. Where what you can be paid for meets what you're good at, that is your profession. It's the thing you can build a stable life on. And where what you're good at meets what you love, that is your passion. It's the thing you'd probably do even if no one ever handed you a cent for it. Each of those overlaps is beautiful on its own. But here's the part that changed everything for me. That single point in the very center, where all 4 of them come together at once. Where your love, your talent, your gift to the world, and your way of sustaining yourself all live in the same place. That is your Ikigai. That is your purpose. Not one you have to invent out of thin air. One you get to discover, because in some quiet way, it was already there, just waiting for you to notice it. I'll never forget the night I finally sat down with all of this. It was late, and I couldn't sleep, and instead of scrolling through my phone, I grabbed an old notebook and drew those 4 circles on a blank page. And then I made myself a promise, that I would fill them in without lying to myself, not even a little. No pretending I loved things I only tolerated. No pretending I was bad at things I was secretly proud of. Just the truth in plain handwriting. And as I filled them in, something started to shift. The things I loved, the things I was genuinely good at, and the things the world seemed to keep asking of me were all, somehow, pointing in the same direction. It was like watching a blurry photo slowly come into focus. And for the first time in a long, long time, I didn't feel lost anymore. I felt like I'd been handed a map that had been folded up in my pocket the whole time. My grandfather had been right. The answer was never hiding somewhere far away. It had been there all along. I just needed a way to finally see it clearly. So, here is what I want you to do tonight, before this feeling fades and life pulls you back into the noise. Take a blank piece of paper, a real one, not a note on your phone, because there's something about your own handwriting that makes you more honest. Draw 4 circles, overlapping in the middle. And then answer each of those 4 questions without overthinking a single word. What do you love? What are you good at? What does the world need? What can you be paid for? Write down the first true things that come to you, not the polished version, the real version. And then look. Look for the place where all of it overlaps. Look for that one small center where everything meets. Because that is where your Ikigai has been quietly waiting for you this entire time. Maybe you'll see it right away, clear as day. Or maybe it'll take a few tries, a few honest nights like the one I had. Either way, I promise you this. The moment you stop trying to think your way to the answer and start looking honestly instead, everything gets simpler. The fog starts to lift, and you begin to feel that quiet pull my grandfather was talking about, the one that gets you out of bed in the morning with a reason. I would truly love to know what yours turned out to be. So, when you find that center, that overlap, that small piece of clarity, come back and tell me down in the comments. I read them, and honestly, there's nothing better than watching someone realize their purpose was never missing, just waiting. And if there's someone in your life who feels a little lost right now, someone who's still searching, still carrying that same stone in their pocket, please send this to them. It costs you nothing, and it might be the exact thing they needed to hear today. Sometimes we can't quite find our own way, but we can still quietly hand someone else a lantern. Take good care of yourself. Be patient with the version of you that's still figuring it out, because they're doing better than they think. I hope to see you in the next one, and until then, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying to the end, and yes, even thank you for the harsh words along the way, because they taught me something too. I'll keep walking this path anyway, even on the days when no one is watching, even when it's quiet and uncertain and slow. Because that, in the end, is exactly what my Ikigai is. And I hope, with all my heart, that very soon you'll be able to say the same about yours.